hi, what's up, girl? I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, and she said something that I was just like, I want to share with y'all because it's so good. She was talking about how she had sex with this guy. She was in her late teenage years and early 20s. You know, I mean, she doesn't want to tell me the age, and I'm not fighting. But she had this guy who had a lot of money. She had sex with the guy. She was dating the guy, but the guy was bad for her. Like, the guy was very toxic, you get me? But then, because he was giving her so much money, her friends were like, oh my gosh, you have met the best guy in the world. This guy is good for you, all that. But she knew that this guy wasn't good for her. But she did not just have a young girl now, early 20s, or even late teenagers, that's even the height. So she did not just have the balls to like break up with the guy and go. And she knew that she needed to talk to somebody who she could she needed a voice who she could trust, right? To guide her through the process. Y'all, guess who came to her mind? Her mother. I was like, what? She was like, yeah, I can't lie to you. Before then, normally, her and her mother had they have a good relationship, right? So she was like, she was going to tell her mother. However, her mother had no idea that she was not a virgin anymore, right? And I can't lie, I took her permission to share this story because I learned so much. I was like, please, I have to share. She was like, oh, don't worry, you can share, but don't call my name. So y'all not going to know the person. You're going to be hearing she. So let's go. Her mother had no idea that she was not a virgin, right? Her mother thought she was a virgin, right? So she went to meet her mother and she was like, Mommy, I want to tell you something. Her mother was like, okay, tell me, what's up? And she was like, Mommy, I had sex with this guy. And she said, I can't lie. I was trying to run from the sex conversation to the point where I'm like, I don't know if I should leave this guy alone or if I should still continue this relationship. Do you get me? And she was like, her mother was like, wait there. What do you mean you had sex with this guy? Aren't you a virgin anymore? And she was like, Mommy, I want you to please listen to me all through. I want your advice on something. The truth is that, which one would you rather? Would you rather I tell you this thing and you help me through this process? Or would you rather I don't tell you this at all? I keep it to myself, you don't know, so you cannot advise me through the process. And I was like, what did your mother do? Because I'm like, what? She was like, her mother was like, okay, fine. Tell me the story. Tell me what's up. I was like, what? She was like, I'm telling you. So she told her mother about the guy, how the guy is, how she knows in her heart, this guy is not good for her, but because he's giving her money and her friends think he's a good guy, so she doesn't just know what to do. And her mother now sat her down and began to advise her, tell her who she was, tell her her value, do you get me? Tell her see, there are things that a man should do for you to know that he's a serious one, right? For you to know that this is the right person for you. And if you don't see these things, the mother even used her father as an example, how the father takes care of her, the mother. If she doesn't see these things that the man is doing for her, then that means it's not good for her at all. Her mother really walked her through just knowing who she was, knowing her value, knowing what she should not take in life when it comes to relationship and men. And she was like, I can't lie to you, I bless God for that day, because that was the day, as she was talking, as her mother was telling her, she had the balls to or the strength or the to let go of the relationship. And I was just like, oh my gosh, because that's good, that's motherhood goals. Because imagine if she could not tell her moms, their parents, in fact, a lot of us cannot tell our mother that kind of a story. Obviously, we know, yeah? Because before you even tell your mother, I had sex, if I don't begin are you kidding? Carry boom, start beating you, what you mean? Have sex to start insulting you, prostitute, But then what's that woman who's going to stick? Imagine if the mother had stuck on just that, I broke my virginity, I had sex with this guy part, yeah? The mother has stuck there, shouting at her, beating her. What the mother would have done is that should have registered two things. The first thing is, never tell your mother such conversations or topics again. So you have sent into the girl's mind, never bring this kind of topic to your mother. So what that means is that if things like that happen again in future, she's not going to tell you. And if it's not the voice of the mother ringing in her head, whose voice is ringing in her head? Her friends. Imagine, do you want your 15-year-old daughter to be getting life advice from a 15-year-old girl, from her friend who's 15 years, who's 16 years, who's 14 years? What do they know about life? Or do you even want your 20-year-old daughter to be getting advice from her fellow 20-year-old age mates? What do they really know? So a lot of times, I know, and this is the first thing, but I want to just talk about that. A lot of times, okay, maybe let's go to the second thing. The second thing that the woman would have registered in her head, if she had stuck on that sex, yeah, would have been, go back to that guy. Because she did not end up telling her mother the whole story because the mother stuck on the sex part and got angry and beat her. Do you get me? So what does that mean? It means that the girl would still go back to that guy. She would still be with the guy who is definitely bad for her because you did not give her an opportunity or the avenue to air your opinion. And this is not me trying to promote bad behaving children. No, this is me just saying, I know as mom, and this is me even talking as a mother as well. You get me? Because I mean, y'all know that I'm taking a course in psychology, cognitive behavioral therapy course. Yeah, basically how our minds affect our behavior, how our thinking processes, how our beliefs affect our behavior. So when I heard this story, I could just see like the loopholes immediately, you know, and what's happening in the world. Yeah. So what I'm saying is, I know as parents, we want our children to be the best. We want them to have the best ideas. We want them to make the best decisions. We want them to be the best in everything that life could ever offer. That's so true. However, they're human beings too. The more you understand that they are human beings, the way you're a human being, and even though you might be the best human being in the world, even the best person made dumb decisions once in a while, you cannot tell me that there's a human being who has made all great decisions. It's a lie. We've had times where we've also made like not the smartest decisions ever. Do you get me? You know, we've done some things that we look back and be like, I wish I didn't do it. It's the same way you have done. It's the same way your child might do those things too. But if you're not going to open an avenue where your child can tell you their life story so you can advise them, then you're leaving your child at the risk of a young person's advice, and that's dangerous. And that's so dangerous because you don't want your child not to be able to tell you. You don't want to be missing when your child needs life advice. You want your child to be able to tell you everything. And I was just like, your mother, big ups that woman. Like, I learned so much. I don't know how I want to do it, but I'm praying to God to give me the wisdom to treat my children well. I want to just make sure that I can be a voice when they need advice. I can be there for them. I want to make sure that they can tell me, because all the wealth of knowledge you have as a human being will be a waste if your children can't take from it, if they can't tap from it. Sometimes there are people right now who need advice that their parents can give, but they won't ask their parents because their parents have acted a certain way at a particular time in their life and they've locked them up. Like, you don't want to be that kind of parent, man. I can't lie to you. I learned so much from her and her mother's story. I thought to just share with you, you know, even us as moms and like, you know, soon to be moms, because if you're looking for a child, I pray you get a child, amen. Let's just give our children the avenue to tell us the truth and the right things. You get me? Exactly. I thought to come and share with you, my darling. You know, I love you with all my heart. Talk to you guys later. Bye.